Most men are in hiding now. Most men are in hiding now. Today's video comes from the Lady J. Her channel will be linked in the description. And I saw one of her videos and it really made me think about the notion that so many guys have walked away from society in general and now they're living their best lives away from society because men have been pushed out of society. Watching this video to fully understand the implications of how and why men are in hiding and how this will affect women going forward in society. Now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Please tell me where the masculine men are out there.
I suppose that depends on what one's definition of masculine is. However, they happen to be everywhere, but a lot of them are hiding.
Seems like there's more men nowadays that want to be the woman in the relationship.
Let's hear this one out.
What happened to the chivalrous man? They're far and few between.
Modern feminism happened, convincing men that they suffered from toxic masculinity and that women can do everything on their own so they don't need men to act in a chivalrous manner.
If you are them, where do we find you?
They've been out there the whole time, but frankly, a lot of them are avoiding contact with a lot of women because they never know which ones are going to yell at them for holding open a door.
It's not at the local Home Depot. I've seen that trend. Like, oh, go find your man at Home Depot. No, the guy that's there on a Saturday morning is there because his wife sent him there to get the shit to work on a project.
Okay.
Maybe I can find you at Costco in the meat market.
Meat market, huh? Yeah, I'm not touching that one.
But literally, what happened to the masculine men? Where do I find you? Where do women in general find you? And when did men become such little dusty boys? All right, rant over.
Honestly, women have no one but themselves to blame for this and modern feminism because they constantly demanded that men change their ways and stop being so toxically masculine, and this is the result. So, again, be careful what one asks for because you just might get it.
You know what's very interesting? This term dusty. So this was something that Black women really started using. I saw the term popping up used by a lot of Black women. And of course, Black women first do it and then white women adopt it. I mean, guys, this is just a doozy. It's just a doozy. I mean, here she is throwing shade at men. Oh, you're a bunch of little boys because you don't want to come out and play. You know, like they acting like they're so confused. They don't know the reasons why men are not approaching them anymore. They don't know the reasons why men have disappeared from society. They don't know why men are walking away. They have no idea. We just don't know. Now, keep in mind, the reason why they're making these videos is they're trying to gain attention. Because for women, again, attention is a currency. This is the reason why a woman will go out, purchase a $10,000 designer product that immediately loses its value as soon as it's out of season, really as soon as they buy it, because no one else is going to buy it off them. And they will figure that it was still valuable because, hey, they wore it that one time, and that one time it got them attention. So that attention means everything. This is how their brains work. This is how the brain of a woman actually works. It's basically about the attention, and nothing else really matters. You will encounter some women who get it, but you have to still be careful even then. You know, in reality, we're dealing with women who do not like us as men. They do not like us in Western society. They absolutely don't like us. They don't want us here. And they will say anything and everything to punish us for simply existing. That's the reality the men live in. That's the reason why men are walking away from Western society and avoiding society as a whole. Women created this toxic society. Basically, America is only a country for women and babies at this point. And it's been like that for a long time. That's why they're attacking the passport kings, because these men are doing better for themselves. They're walking away from Western society, the toxicness in Western society, and modern women absolutely hate that. They hate the fact that these men are walking away and doing better for themselves.
Passport Bros is gaining more and more popularity, and honestly, the ladies are not happy about it. And one of the reasons I think it's getting so much pushback from women is because what this is going to mean is that ladies are not going to just have more competition. They're going to have more competition when it comes to dating and mating. There's going to be more options available for men, and I think for many ladies that just makes them feel a little bit uneasy, if I'm just being honest. First of all, the idea of dating and mating being competitive in general is not anything that we grew up hearing. A lot of women grew up hearing they're the prize, they just have to be, and the man will just magically show up. That, you know, this their presence isn't up. Like we heard these things, and so the idea of competing, or the idea of, you know, making yourself available, or different, you know, things that you would do to make yourself desirable to another partner is very foreign, especially for Black women. And so now fast forward, and you have this whole group of men that are saying, hey, you aren't willing to work with us, fine, we're going to go abroad and find women who are. It's like a mixture of shock and disdain and disgust, and how dare you do this? Like, you're gonna make us have to compete? How dare you? So the thing is, I don't think it's going anywhere. I legitimately do not think that this movement is going anywhere. If anything, I think it's going to grow. And this is just the way of the economy of the world. So many things are globalized, jobs being one of them, different career opportunities, and of course, relationships is going to be one of them. So I just think it's making a lot of women uneasy. And the good news is, if you are a good woman, whether you in the USA, or you are in, you know, Europe, or you are in Asia, Africa, whatever, if you're a good woman, there's going to be no shortage of men who really want to, you know, be with you.
Now, here's the thing about this. I would say for Africa and Asia and these other countries, yeah. But when it comes to the USA, there's a big problem. Men don't want to date in the USA. Even if there's a good woman in the US, there's a lot of issues there. One, it's a very dangerous game. For example, she could say anything, she could ruin your life very easily. A lot of guys thought they were with a good woman, and then they found out that they were with someone who was absolutely terrible. Another factor is, and this is something that a lot of men say, for every one good woman in the US, there are 20 good men chasing her. And that's one of the biggest problems. So a lot of men are like, it's literally not worth the chase. It's you know, and also, and again, men were told to leave women alone. Men were told never approach a woman that you do not know in a parking lot. Do not speak to women that you do not know. Guys, men actively tell their daughters about male nature, but women do not tell their sons about female nature. It's a disgusting and despicable thing that modern mothers have done to their sons. They basically transfer ownership of their sons from themselves to other women. We are basically raised and conditioned in modern society to be slaves for society and women within society, who act and operate as agents of the state, and their sole purpose is to reallocate wealth and resources from men to the state, and then they are rewarded for doing so. And they do this through divorce court. They do it through criminal court. They do it through civil court. They do it through family court. The state does not care how they do it. It just cares that they do it, and it rewards them for doing it. And it puts the burden of proving one's innocence upon a man. Think about this. Whenever a woman accuses a man of anything, you know, the burden is placed upon the man to prove his innocent. When in reality, under the law, if the law actually was reality, because a lot of you idiots are like, oh, the law, the Constitution does not actually exist. It is a list of privileges. It's not a list of rights. It is a list of privileges that can be taken away at any given time. But many of you are so fucking stupid that you cannot realize it. Oh, the Constitution, I have my rights. You don't have any fucking rights. The country operates on policies. All right, it operates on policies. When a police officer stops you, he doesn't give a shit about your fucking rights. He cares about policies. And a lot of you idiots will throw your lives away to go and argue with a cop. All right, it doesn't. If they control alt delete you, then guess what? You've lost everything. All right, there's nothing there for you. You may not give a shit, but guess what? It doesn't matter because you're no longer amongst us. A lot of you guys are fucking idiots. I'm just putting it out there. A lot of you are idiots because you think that your rights are going to protect you. You don't have any rights. You have privileges, all right, barely at this point, that can be taken away at any given moment. The country does not operate on rights. It often operates on policies. Policies. It's a sad, sick thing. But the truth is, the reason why it's set up like this, the reason why they give you the whole Constitution jumbo is because they want you to have the illusion of freedom. Because if they actually told you straight up that you're a slave, and don't get me wrong, we're heading in that direction, you will own nothing and be happy. But if they just straight up told you that no, you're a slave and you know that's how it is, then people would rebel. So they have to basically get you nice and comfortable with this notion that you actually have rights, and then over time they demoralize you. They make you fat, they make you sick, they make you demoralized, and they control, and then they penalize you for even the thoughts that you have. All right, you are punished depending on the kinds of thoughts that you have. Look at the UK. You can now head to prison if they think that you're even thinking about, misogyny. Oh, you're susceptible to misogyny. Oh, now you're a terrorist. Guys, this is how it's working right now. And a lot of you are like, oh, I have my rights. You don't have any rights. You don't have any rights. We live under a tyrannical state. Women operate as agents of the state. Simps operate as agents of the state. And everything that you have can be taken away immediately from you, instantly from you. And that's just how it works.
In a society now where it's like there's a lot of women who just don't even want to have families. If you're a woman who doesn't want to have a family and does have the character and the qualities to do so, like, you're not going to have any problems. But the reality is, what worked 50, 60, maybe even 10 years ago when it came to finding somebody, it's not going to work today. Things are just strictly different. Things just are not the same. And I think instead of trying to shame dudes or trying to find ways to detour them from doing what they have already decided they're going to do, it might be more productive to just try to understand what's going on.
Enough about how passport bros are just predators.
So is this what we're doing now? We're calling these passport bros predators? Really? Like, really? Come on now. Just because these men want to go with their passports to go find a lovely woman out of this country does not make them a predator. Were they a predator when they went somewhere else to find a woman in the United States? No, nobody was calling them a predator then. Look up the definition of predator and stop trying to call these men out their name for no reason. The only reason, I'm going to say it, the only reason women are getting mad about passport bros is because they're not getting picked. Hence the word pick me. Makes sense, right? Yep.
Guys, think about it very carefully. She said it well. They're not getting picked anymore. So what are these women doing? They've always hated us, guys. Modern women as a whole hate us. And that's the reason why they're doing this. That's the reason why they're calling us predators when we simply go overseas and walk away. If we choose not to even date or to have relationships, if we distance ourselves from society, they attack us and shame us for simply walking away and focusing on ourselves. If we talk about going to the gym and working on our bodies, they say it's toxic. They hate the fact that we are muscular, but they only want to date muscular men. It's a sick society.
Hey, it's your boy Hood. Check it out. To the black women. Why y'all so angry at the passport bros? What you angry at them for? You all said that you don't want to be bothered with them. You said you're independent. You got your own house. You got your own car. You got your own bag. You don't need them. So now that the passport bros went off and then actually got women who appreciate them, who honor them, who respect them, who treat them like they're men. They went and got women who have feminine moves in them, who are real women. What you angry about? All they did was what you told them to do. You told them go on about their business, and that's exactly what they did. Went on about their business. What you angry about? Your request has been granted. Passport bros went out and did their thing. And you can tell that they are very successful at it because you are angry. Baby, let it go. Let it go. You dug that hole. Live in it. Them brothers gone take care of their business. You asked for it, and you got it. Passport bros, do your thing, player. Yep.
You see, here's the thing. To be a passport king, you actually have to have some money in your pocket. You can't be a broke boy saying you're going overseas and, that's it. Because a lot of these dudes, they know they go overseas, they don't have money, they get stranded. Okay, and to be honest, most of these dudes who go over there, they have money. And if they go broke overseas, it's because they, messed around with the wrong people, like signed over their life savings to some woman they didn't know. But the average man that's going overseas has money in the bank. They have to have money. They have to be able to. They have to have some capacity to provide for themselves and take care of themselves if they can go overseas. I've heard stories from so many guys who left the U.S. They basically just picked up, left, said we're done with Western society. They left the country with a couple $1,000s in their pocket, and they haven't been back in decades. And they have been working overseas, making money overseas before the internet became even a prominent force, which is amazing. Before the internet took off, and people were able to like really build a following off social media and do all of this, you had these men who left the United States and they found ways of making money overseas in other countries decades ago. I had one guy who left America in like 1995. I should have done a podcast with him, but things were I was just too busy with everything going on. And this guy's in Thailand. And this guy he hasn't been he's like, he's trying to figure out what's going on in America because he hasn't been here in like 30 years. 30 years. And he's surviving. He's not even that he's okay with technology, but he's not the greatest with technology. And he's been overseas for 30 years. And he's been living his best life for 30 years overseas in Thailand. And he's just like, he's like, I don't understand this. What's going on in America? I don't get it. And it's completely understandable that he wouldn't get it because he's hearing the stories about America, and he's been in another world for decades. Okay? This is the land of the beast. Guys, we as men, they hate us here. They do not like us. They want to destroy us. They do not like the fact that we breathe. They just want our attention, our time, our money. And if we try to speak to them and say, listen to how you're treating us, listen to how you're doing us over here, we'll just get sign language, shame, insults, guilt, gaslighting, nagging, because they need to be right. And it will be a continuous ongoing cycle of this crap until you cannot take anymore. And then when you walk away, you become a passport king. They basically start attacking you for looking at your alternatives, because men walking away are just men with alternatives. Or some men decide that they're going to choose another alternative. They're going to go MGTOW and say that they're going to just give up on relationships and they want to separate themselves from relationships and society. Then the women attack them as well. You cannot win. You really, really cannot win. And the game is rigged. So why even play? It's a level of stupidity. I've said this plenty of times that these influencers, these guys in the manosphere, they need to stop telling men to go to the gym and work out so that you can get girls. No, you go to the gym and you work out so that you don't get sick, so that you don't get diabetes, so that you type 2 diabetes, so you won't get hypertension. You won't be ill, so you won't have irritable bowel syndrome. You go to the gym so that you won't be morbidly obese. These are the reasons why you go to the gym. All right. This is Uncle Angle. Like, you don't get this from any of these other idiots. And I don't mean to shame them, but I'm just saying. All right. This is why I don't fit in with a lot of people. You know what? I don't give a fuck if I fit in anymore. Fuck the world. Fuck the world. All right. I'm telling you the honest to goodness truth. You don't go to the gym to please women. You go to the gym to take care of yourself. You go to the gym. You don't work on your finances so that you have money to take women out. To be very clear, they should be taking you out. You shouldn't be spending a dime on a modern woman. They should be spending money on you. No, you work on your finances so you will live a better life. You also maintain discipline. You learn how to discipline yourself, all right? Discipline yourself with spending. Discipline yourself with eating. Discipline yourself when it comes to, working out, making sure that you're taking care of yourself for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Discipline yourself when it comes to lust and desire, where you're able to control your lust and control your desire and keep your eye on the prize, which is prosperity. Okay? Prosperity for yourself. If you learn how to do these things, you will have an easier life, because it's not easy, but by doing these things, you will have an easier life. These guys who are pigs out there, basically they're they eat like pigs, they live like pigs, they are desperate for women, they're desperate for female attention, and then they end up flat on their faces and they want other men to pick them up and cry with them. They can get the hell out of here.
It's almost impossible
for
a girl to climb out of the friend zone,
because it's almost like they're like a bro now. Like
it's like they're a bro. I feel like girls don't fight for it like guys do. Guys still guys will still tough it out and be the friend, and then maybe the girl changes their mind, or sees them in a different light years later.
Yeah.
But girls, they accept it and they move on and they find someone else.
This whole friend zone thing is total bullshit. No man should ever settle for the friend zone. No man should ever settle for any of that nonsense. Like I said, mothers don't tell their sons about female nature. They basically transfer ownership from themselves over to the woman. All right, guys. I'm so sick of it. And it's like, as soon as you start talking about you basically try to talk about these issues with men and with simps and women. Women are good at this. They basically then emotionally blackmail you by going, "Who hurt you?" They're one trick ponies. Who hurt you? Or basically, you're a predator for saying these things, for talking about men's issues and how women treat men in society, and about female nature, or saying that you don't want to help women, you don't want to give women money. You've got to be freaking kidding me, guys. This is why men basically just walk away and say that, we're not even going to have a conversation. We're just going to keep it moving. And this is going to leave a lot of women in extraordinary amounts of poverty. I've talked about the great V collapse of 2020. It was slowed down because of the events of 2020, but it's back on, guys. History tends to repeat itself in cycles. History, I think it was Mark Twain who said, history tends to rhyme. Okay. And what happened once typically will happen again. So just like how we had the events of 2020, we had another event similar to that 100 years earlier. Guys, 1929, we had the Great Depression. Where are we right now? We are almost in 2025. We're almost in 2025, guys. Don't be shocked when everything collapses in the next 5 years and basically the sky is falling because they can't kick the can down the road any further. Right now, we are seeing ripples, and they're trying to maintain things by pumping more toxic money into the economy. But eventually, no one's going to want to accept that money anymore. And when this happens, you're going to see things like the value of gold, where a $2,000 bar of gold that you purchase at Costco right now is going to 10x. It's going to be worth $20,000. I am not fucking with you, all right? Because the U.S. dollar is going to crash and crash so hard. And when the U.S. dollar crashes, all the other money around the world is going to crash. You know what money is going to remain stable? BRICS. BRICS is the new reserve currency of the world. And we're all just waiting to get our fucking hands on that right now and dump the toxic U.S. dollar. And here's the thing. The U.S. can't do shit without money. That's the secret that they don't want to tell you. Oh, we're gonna bring some freedom. No, you're not. If you have no money to pay people, they're not gonna work. If they can't pay their soldiers, the military is breaking down as it is. If they can't pay those soldiers, they cannot do anything. All right? They cannot do anything. If they don't have the money to pay those people, they can't do anything. All right, they are between a rock and a hard place. They are just literally fronting right now. One of the top officials, actually a couple of top officials from the military, the Pentagon, stepped up and said that they need to start not only recruiting, they need to start up another draft and basically refill the military that way, because the military is about to break. The military is about to crack because they do not have enough personnel, and the few people that they do have, they're actually holding up the entirety of the military right now. A lot of those people are going to be gone over the next 5 years. A lot of people are going to retire, and then once they're gone, that's it. And trying to force them back into the military is like, oh, we're reactivating you. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. It's just not going to happen. And here's the thing. If you try to force people to serve in the military, you're only going to end up with deserters, detractors, and traitors, all right? Something that the military knows very well, but they're in such a desperate state right now that they'll basically do everything and anything. They don't give a shit. Well, guess what, guys? They're going to have to face the consequences for what they've done and how they've treated men in society, because you can't have it both ways, all right? Both women in society are going to be facing extremely hard times as men walk away or go their own way, and there's not much they can do about it. The more they try to punish us and destroy our lives, the worse it's going to be for them, because the more men disengage. It's basically trying to have slaves fight for you. The Romans, they had it throughout their literature that you cannot use slaves to fight your battles, and forced conscription, or just of slaves, because that's what we are. as men, we are slaves in Western society. That's only going to lead to deserters and detractors. And literature is very, very clear on that, that you could not use slaves as for to fight in the military as soldiers, and that's something in Roman text. And the fact is that America is going down this path. Men. Most men know their status. It's only the simps that are still, carrying on with the total bullshit. But it is what it is because they're simps. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, consider joining my Substacks for insights on world events, wealth building tips, practical living advice, social issues, and also you can get a free copy of my digital nomad blueprint, which is linked in the description, so you can go and check that out. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Most men are hiding now. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.